Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Corsair K65 RGB Mini. This is Corsair's first attempt at a 60% keyboard, so let's go ahead and see how they do. In terms of pricing, this keyboard is $109 to set the precedence there. It does feature a couple unique things though, because nowadays it seems like keyboards are finally, these big manufacturers are coming with double shot PBT keycaps, and Corsair is now one of them. They did it on the K100 and they're doing it again here, and they do feel pretty nice and premium as well. In the box, they give you this very cool space bar that has like this pretty nice design on it. It's nothing really too special, but it does look pretty clean, and the space bar actually has 3 individual LEDs also, so that's very cool as well. It is very well illuminated because of the white backplate. They also give you a nice Corsair accent cap as well that you can use on your escape key, and they do give you a braided USB Type-C cable as well. Speaking of the USB-C port on the keyboard, it's actually placed in the middle of the keyboard, which is, to me, is fine. I'm glad it is either in the middle or all the way to the left side of the keyboard. If the USB port is on the right side, that is just the wrong side to put it on a gaming keyboard. This keyboard does also feature a 4000 Hertz polling rate for the PCB that you can change within the Corsair IQ software. This is my first time using the IQ software. I have an early build of it for the keyboard. It's pretty complicated to use. I've never used it before, and I'll be honest with you, trying to like change keybinds and whatnot, it's not the easiest to figure out. Can I do it if I spend some more time with it? Yeah, but honestly speaking, IQ I really only like to use to mess with the RGB lights for my fans, so I'm not even gonna really bother with the keyboard. But I can set up some lighting profiles and that was about it. But trying to change keybinds just seemed like a little bit more of a hassle than it was really worth it for me to even go through the trouble of doing so. In terms of build quality, you've got a white aluminum plate, double shot PBT keycaps, and the case, honestly speaking, the case is very similar to a GK61. Just the difference is that instead of the USB port being at the left side of the keyboard, it's in the middle. Plastic, again, it looks very similar. Not saying that it is the exact same, but I've seen this case somewhere before. When IQ is not running, you can press Function and C to change your lighting effect, Function and V to change the direction of that lighting effect, and then Function and B to change the speed of that lighting effect. But when you do have IQ connected, the way that you're going to change your lighting effects is going to be linked to your profiles that you have set up with your other IQ devices. So you're going to press Function and Z to change that IQ profile, which I'm not really the biggest fan of, because let's say that you don't want your keyboard lighting effects to be linked to your computer, for example. The function C, V, and B basically just don't work, which is kind of weird. Next, probably the biggest determining factor that will basically result in me buying or not buying a 60% keyboard is how you're able to use the arrow keys and where the function key is located. So with this keyboard, even though it looks very similar to a GK61 that actually did not copy the GK61 arrow key method, more or less is very similar to the Ducky 1.2 Mini, where basically you have to press Function and IJKL to use your arrow keys, which for me, is it doable? Yes, but it's not something that I ever like train myself to learn muscle memory to use and get used to, because quite simply I just did not want to. Function and the lower cluster is a lot easier to hit like it is on the HyperX Origin 60 as well as the GK61, but IJKL on the Ducky keyboard as well as this Corsair K65 RGB Mini is not the easiest to hit for me personally. And I, again, haven't found an easy way to be able to remap that in the IQ software. So I would like to see the IQ software updated so that I can move my function key over and remap my arrow keys to where I want them to be. Corsair, what happened? You guys, on the K100, you have the new Corsair optical speed switches, and those are really nice to use. Why are they not on this keyboard? Why do we have scratchy cherry switches? Cherry switches, don't get me wrong, they're the industry standard and everybody knows that, but a lot of companies are not using cherry switches anymore. Maybe they have contracts with Gateron, maybe they simply want to develop their own like you guys have, Steel Series and all the other companies as well. And with this keyboard having that 8000 Hertz polling rate, I was thinking that optical, very smooth speed switches would be a great addition to have. Even though you do have Cherry Reds is the keyboard that I have today, as well as Cherry MX Speeds available on this keyboard, and I'm pretty sure they might benefit a little bit from that faster polling rate. But to be honest with you, I think your optical switches really do belong on this keyboard with that Axum process and 8000 Hertz polling rate and whatnot. Like, I feel like it was kind of a really big missed opportunity, and that's kind of what I was hoping for when I initially seen this keyboard. So That's kind of disappointing. I'm dropping a sound test for you guys right now with those Cherry MX red switches that I have on my board. The stabilizers, to be honest, are really not bad. But the switches, they sound fine, but they are a little bit scratchy, especially in direct comparison to the K100. Closing thoughts on the keyboard. Well, let's make it short and sweet for you guys. So I wish that they had not used Cherry switches. I wish that they used their own Corsair Speed optical switches that are extremely smooth and literally 10 times better than Cherry switches. Very surprised that they went with these. The stabilizer is actually pretty good, so that isn't an issue there. The build quality for $110, is it bad? I wouldn't say it's bad, but the plastic obviously is not as premium, let's say a plastic on a Ducky keyboard, and it's also not metal like the HyperX Ally or just 60. The arrow keys being on IJKL, that's just kind of for me. Like yeah, I could get used to it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So I hope that they update IQ to be able to change a lot of those keybinds to be a little bit more accessible so that it's a little bit more comfortable to use. As a gaming keyboard, this is a pretty good keyboard. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just that I know that Corsair could have done better because they've already done better. I do like the fact that this keyboard is USB Type-C. I do like the fact that they use double shot PBT keycaps, which I believe are two really huge things. And, you know, obviously it's really good that 60% are now being able to break into big box stores. And I also want to give Corsair props for not coming out with some box that's just massive. Like, this box is extremely small and slender. There's stuff in here rattling around. But the box is extremely small and slender, and I do appreciate that, so I don't feel like, you know, they wasted really any packaging. So I'm glad about that. Maybe ever so slightly more environmentally friendly, but yeah, I just feel like it's a really good package, and it does, yeah, packaging wise, feel like a premium product. But then you get it out of the box and you're like, on sale, I think would be a better deal. Really, I think that this keyboard with the Cherry switches, how it is now, even though it does have the 8,000 hertz polling rate, I feel like it's more of like maybe a $75 to $80 keyboard. $110 is kind of steep, especially for not having a metal build when we're starting to see that now, and for the subpar switches. If it had the upgraded Corsair optical switches, I could give it a pass at $110. Having Cherry switches, not so much. I don't even give Ducky keyboards a pass for $110. So with that being said, I feel like this board is decent, but again, it's more warranted toward that $80 price point, but in its current state at least. That's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoy, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. Actually, before we go though, Corsair did also send me over their new Elgato LED light strips that I have on my desk. Now these, on the other hand, these are really cool. I like these quite a bit. So you can control everything with the Elgato key lights, actually that I'll show you guys right now, or more or less your cell phone to like control all of your Elgato key lights and whatnot, like I am right now. And that also includes the light strips. So it's nice that since I do happen to have like all this Elgato hardware and whatnot and the light strips, I just have to use one app to control all the lights, and it looks very, very cool. And they also don't flicker on camera as well. So they're specially designed to not do that. I do wish that they were a little bit longer though, so that would reach around the rest of my desk, but I'll be honest, my desk is kind of big, I guess. So, you know, I can't have everything in the world, but I can extend them if I want, if I buy another one, which I probably will, to put on the my other desk as well that I usually use for filming, and also finish, you know, extending the rest of my desk, because on that side without the RGB it just looks kind of lonely, so I want it to match. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll have both the K65 RGB Mini as well as the Elgato RGB lights linked in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and sub, and have a great rest of your day.